So since the Steel Ball Run anime was announced, I've been seeing a lot of discussion resurfacing about the correlation between JoJo's original universe and alternate universe, particularly the notion that the Made in Heaven reset at the end of Part 6 created the alternate universe seen in Part 7. This is mostly a result of how the teaser trailer was presented, as it begins in 1888, Phantom Blood, and goes through the timeline up to Stone Ocean, where we then see the effect of Made in Heaven with the years flying by, that then fades into the years counting up to 1890, which is Steel Ball Run, which some have taken as a pseudo-confirmation that the timeline reset into Part 7. So I know I've already made an entire video dedicated to this topic that extensively explains the in-manga and real-life reasons for the alternate universe and provides many quotes from Araki himself on the subject, so in this video, I just want to break it down in the simplest way possible to clear up any confusion new or returning fans may still have. So the alternate universe, also known as the Steel Ball Run universe, is JoJo's new continuity for parts 7 through 9, and is completely separate from parts 1 through 6, and its many references and parallels to the original universe has no in-world reason, and is simply for the author Araki to create new stories that carry on the spirit of JoJo, while being free from the limitations imposed on him from the original universe, as Stone Ocean was set in the year 2011, but written in the early 2000s. So if Araki were to continue the story, he would have been forced to either go further into the future, resulting in an unrealistic depiction of the times, or go back into the past and create new Joestars somewhere in between the already established parts, which could feel a bit messy as it would essentially be retconning the timeline. So Steel Ball Run is very simply described by Araki as a parallel world, and could probably be best described as an alternate multiverse. So the best way I can explain how this works in JoJo is through a diagram, where we have a lane, and inside the lane is a multiverse, where each of these lines is its own universe, and there can be an infinite number of worlds. The lane can go on forever, forwards and backwards, but nothing can come in or leave the lane, and this lane can represent the original continuity, parts 1 through 6, and one of these lines would be the original universe, which we can assume is the base universe, another one can be the first reset, another can be the Ireneverse, but everything else is based off of the original. So every single one of these lines infinitely is a slight variation of that original world of JoJo that we know. Although to clarify, this is not a 100% confirmed thing for the original universe. For all we know, there was just one universe, and Made in Heaven's resets were just altering that one universe. But the point being, for explaining purposes, that it's in its own lane. Whether it be one universe or a multiverse, it's still in the lane. So right next to this lane, but entirely separate, is the Steel Ball Run continuity. Same concept, it's in its own lane with an infinite number of universes stacked on top of each other, all with slight variations from the base universe, which is a confirmed thing in the story. So the two are parallel worlds that have no bearing or impact on the other, no matter the events or standability, even something like Made in Heaven. Unless, of course, in the future, Araki were to create a standability that somehow broke the barrier and transcended continuities, but we haven't seen that yet. So the reason why there are alternate versions of characters like Jonathan to Johnny is simply because Araki wanted to, and it allows him to draw from his past ideas but reinvent them in new ways that celebrate the past but also evolve the series, as Araki didn't want to just ignore everything that came before and made JoJo special, like so many reboots seem to do where they hate what they're rebooting and throw away all of the original ideas. Araki went about essentially rebooting the series in a way that embraced what it originally was. So if you ever see people asking about this topic or confused about it, all I ask is that you try not to be antagonistic or imperious about it, as sadly many fans seem to do, as the way it's written is objectively confusing. Part 6 ends with a universe reset that is hardly explained, and the part immediately following it is set in an alternate universe. So unless you're seeking out supplementary content on the subject or Araki interviews, I would assume most readers would think that there's a connection. And in the Steel Ball Run trailer, I don't think they did it wrong or were trying to imply that Made in Heaven created the alternate universe. That's just how the timeline for the manga goes. And the separation between the universes is a lot simpler than people make it out to be. But there's really no reason to dog on those who might not understand the topic, so I just want to have a more positive outlook towards those who might be experiencing Steel Ball Run for the first time and have reasonable questions about the new universe, and as a community I think we should try to be as uplifting as possible. So hopefully this cleared things up and gave you a better understanding of what the Steel Ball Run universe is. So thank you all so much for watching, like the video if you enjoyed it, subscribe for more, and I'll talk to you all again real soon. Peace.